Building chips has been a passion of mine, and building big chips, primarily for data communications, networking, which eventually evolved into like data center infrastructure. During that time, I actually collaborated with my co-founder on the silicon and the software architecture, products, solutions that actually ended up enabling the era of open cloud networking. Around 2019, 2020, what was clear was the fact that networking in the data center had primarily been oriented and built for traditional computing workloads like big data, large databases, the kind of things that Cloud 1.0, as I like to call it, serviced as workloads. Towards the end of that 2010s decade, you really started to see accelerated computing start to take off, and GPUs started to be deployed very prominently in the data center. At this time, it was mostly like recommendation engines. That was the big thing a few years back. So you were starting to see the shift in the nature of compute. The data center has always been sort of like a stitching of the compute together. And so when the compute was changing, and we could see that it could change even more dramatically in this direction of accelerated computing, how's the networking going to change? How should it change? The traditional components like NICs and switches and PCIe bridges that we would find in traditional computing really would merit and benefit from a refactoring to really build a more optimal component for moving data effectively between the compute elements. And that was really the start of Enfabrica back in 2020.